This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the build.
Banark, LNbits, Wales.
Long hair takes a lot of tender love and care. Do you use hair conditioner?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to take care of your hair.
The Gower or the Gower Peninsula in southwest Wales projects towards the Bristol Channel. It is the most westerly part of historic county of Glamorgan. In 1956, the majority of Gower became the first area in the United Kingdom to be designated as the area of outstanding natural beauty. Is this your favorite place to be?
Yes.
In the Harry Potter books of writer J.K. Rowling, Diagon Alley is a cobblestone shopping area for the wizarding world, where Hogwarts students can purchase necessary supplies. And it was completely hidden from the Muggle, non-magic people world. Do you think all pre-corners are Muggles?
No. Yes.
The Pubinho modified smart tap, an automated beer tap which integrated lightning, is the best thing I ever spent my sats on.
Yes.
The nostr protocol could provide a service for meeting people in a geographical location, like sex workers, and can make them work safer thanks to the reputation system which exists within it. Will this be the big breakthrough for nostr?
Yes.
Is Garrett Bale the best striker Wales ever had?
No.
Are there many Bitcoin whales in Wales?
Yes.
Do you reconsider a job switching after singing along with Bilal Güregen at Lightning Hack Day in Istanbul?
Yes.
I prefer to sing Land of My Fathers over God Save the Queen.
Yes.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connect the World weekly podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Stef. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 43 of Connect the World. Stef, good to see you.
Hey, Etje.
Hey.
Etje, you had a busy weekend.
Oh, yeah, I had a busy weekend with a wedding again. And it was, it were 3 days. So it was long and it was far away and it was raining. But it was great.
But raining is more difficult, right? For the photographer. Because
with raining, mostly people then take pictures inside, of course, and places are small. And if you want to make group photos, it's difficult. But what we also did, well, not this time, but the 1 week ago, we made pictures outside and then they were dry underneath some rooftop. But outside, and I was in the rain, all soaked and wet, making a picture, but with an off-camera flash, and that's really amazing because then all the water drops are lit by the flash, and then it's just a dreamy picture.
Cool.
With a beautiful couple, and that's great.
Nice. Yeah, you're
it's
a real,
very technical.
Yeah,
so
you're a real
really
pro,
like
man.
that.
You're a real pro. So I believe you. I believe you.
I'm going to show you the picture.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see each other soon because we have a lot to do. So
a lot of preparations for the Bitcoin conference. So
indeed,
the Rings of Fire workshop we organized. So.
Indeed.
Yeah, we have a lot.
So we're busy with that, and there were a couple of new names for as a speaker for the conference, and we made a whole list and chose some to interview and perhaps someone more. So it will be great. But the prep is it's a lot,
All full
but
throttle.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, full throttle.
Yeah, nice,
indeed.
nice. Hey, and I'm really looking forward to it, obviously. But also. I'm looking forward to our workshop. And I saw in the agenda that Ben Ark is right before us, right? Or right after us?
Yeah.
I think he's right before us.
I'm going to search it now because I did.
He's also doing a workshop about LNbits.
Yeah, indeed. And his workshop is an hour. Ours is 30 minutes. But we're going to make it very condensed, so it'll be great. And let's have a look. We're in the midday, so I thought it was 1:30, I think. Yeah, and LNbits proof of workshop is 12:30 p.m.
Yeah, so
on Wednesday. So it's the first day, and we're almost after that. So right after that, 1:25 p.m.
So we are sharing the stage with the goat.
He can stay there, and then we can do it together.
Yeah,
right?
That will be awesome. That will be awesome.
No, it will be great because he's going to show a lot of experimental things and Rings of Fire.
Did you saw the What Bitcoin Did
lightning
episode with him? I think it was released.
No, I watched the bit. And I'm going to watch the whole episode, but you did watch it.
Yeah, it was great, man. I really enjoyed it, especially the first part where he showcased all the stuff he brought and the whole LNbits.
And Fossa.
Fossa.
We're going to talk about
it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but we, talking about Ben, we share the stage with him today also, Edward, because who is our guest for today?
Ah, yeah, indeed. Who's our guest? This week we welcome Ben Ark.
Oh, what a coincidence.
So for those who don't know him, he's a real free open source software developer, advocate and educator, and a builder of Bitcoin software and from 2014,
especially
I think,
and hardware. Great, yeah.
And he created LNbits, and that's what the workshop is all about. And LNbits combines the two, right? So it's point of sale hardware, a lot of other stuff. And we talked to him in his shed, so his natural environment.
Yeah.
I'm psyched about it.
Yeah, man. So that's for the second part of the show. Let's first have a little talk about the statistics of the Lightning Network and about our Rings of Fire community. And then the second part will be with Benny.
I was thinking one thing. We need to thank Kluk from episode 1, it's a long time ago, Stef, because he opened, with our help, together a nice balanced channel with us. And
for our
that's really handy indeed. And all the other help he did with the Lightning Watch service. But special thanks to Kluk.
Yes, thank you, mate.
And I'm not going to go through with all the other stuff. No, the promo code, Stef, we almost forgot. If you didn't bought a ticket for the conference, then use the promo code CTW podcast, and then you get a 10% discount.
Yep.
Conecta el mundo.
So last week we had a little over 42.41 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week it's 42.89. So we added 48 million sats, so almost half Bitcoin, with around 1,407 members participating in over 187 rings.
And we're now at block height 754,800 with 17,045 nodes and 67 Bitcoin more than last week. So we have 4,785 Bitcoin inside the network.
Yes, and
the value of today,
1 million satoshis,
1 million
is getting you 187 euros, $187, and 1,311 Chinese won.
That 1-on-1 is so weird.
Well.
And then some highlighted news updates from last week, brought to you by the Daily Moon. Let's first start with a funny one. Bitcoin Facts is a service that makes it possible to send the good old facts, if you know what it is, all over the world. And now they made it possible to pay with Lightning. It's a fun example of where a new technology meets the old. So check it out.
Have you used one yourself when you were young?
I had a fax on my work, but not at home. But on my work, I used it. Well, some work history ago. And later, I needed to fax something for a hosting company. And I did that through email and then an app. So an app on your phone, and then you can send it to an email or something. And it got transformed to
But
fax.
that's already a fax on steroids, right? So, I mean, yeah. I never used it. I think I'm too young.
No, you never used it?
No.
And
we had one.
Did
we
you...
had one in my childhood. We had one, but we never used it.
And did you call a fax number with your phone?
Yeah.
And then you hear the funny noises?
The wrong number. Yeah. Yeah, that's from the telephone book, right? And you search for the right
so
number,
funny.
and you always get the wrong number, and then that's crazy.
It was just today. I'm gonna share it because it was funny. There was a video going viral of 2 kids of 17 or something, and the father asked them to dial a number on a rotary phone, so a phone with a rotary dial, and they just can't do it. It was too difficult for them, and it went viral.
I can imagine.
Some time
my
ago.
grandma had one, and I was able to use it. I mean.
A laptop man is now saying, do you know telex? The telex, I don't know what it is. And my mother and father had a relationship from a distance, far away, and they used a telegram, but a real telegram. And I have them. It's just, communication, right?
Cool.
Okay, we have something. The next thing is interesting. I'm going to put a sound in. Yeah. This noise, this sound, is from Bitcoin Snake, the last, it was the last game of Thunder Games. We had Desiree Dickerson on the show last week, and they released a new game. A true classic. We all know Solitaire, the card game. They say it's sexier than ever before. I just installed it on my phone. I haven't played it, but I was expecting some audio, but it wasn't there.
No.
So that's
no audio.
That's a bummer.
Oh, that's a bummer.
I only checked it on my phone, so perhaps you can check it also. I really like the folding the cards, right? I missed the audio, but it looks great. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna of course give it a chance because I like Thunder Games. We should all try it. But the audio, that's just
maybe it's a bug.
maybe some future version. Okay, and then the Fossa, Stef. LNbits, Fossa, Ben Ark made it. It's a free open source super ADM, he called it. A fully Bitcoin LNURL powered ATM, and it's all offline. So, enough said. We've added the video in and some other links.
He's also
in
talking
the
about this project in the What Bitcoin Did podcast.
Yeah. That's good to add it too.
And he brought one, but I think it was the one where you could put the coins in. And he was also thinking about building one where you could also put paper money in. And I think this is the one you could put paper money in. So he was talking about building it within that episode. So it's really nice to see.
On the video, checked it here, and only $200 in the stuff that you need to buy. So great. And then LN Capital released its first weekly Lightning report on the current state of the Lightning Network. And this report is made in collaboration with Small World, and who we all know from LNnodeinsights.com. And for those who don't know yet, LNnodeinsights.com, it's a site where you can discover network-wide statistics on nodes, interactively explore node local networks, measure the impact of opening and closing a channel, and identify potentially profitable paths in the network. We all want that with a Lightning node. So check out the report for more info.
And check out the episode with Small World, because we had an episode.
I've added him too.
Cool.
Yeah, that's really a great one. He has a great mustache. Yeah, check his
mustache.
His mustache. And I've added 3 updates. I was happy about them. So I'm gonna start with the first one. VaultPay app is now available in your favorite app store with a complete product redesign, and you can now download transaction spreadsheets. And they've made numerous improvements to their user interface. So check out the newest version of VaultPay. And then LNTXbot added on-chain deposit, a new feature. So you can use the / fund BTC and then fund your LNTXbot with on-chain sats. So very easy, directly to your Lightning wallet. And the service is provided by DZ.io. I was interested in them because, of course, you need something to make the change. And then, we talked about LNode Insights. They also had an update. Small World announced a capacity fee plus fee suggestion tool. So that's interesting because it provides a starting point to initially set fees on channels. But it also provides a way to value the liquidity in your channels relative to others.
Cool.
So yeah, super useful. Check it out.
Do you want to read more and stay up to date about everything related to Lightning, the news and updates? Then head over to tdm.news and follow the Daily Moon on Twitter or Telegram.
Connect the world.
So, Etje, I've got 3 rings for you, mate.
Okay, come on.
Oh man, high liquidity rings, always nice, always nice. So
Yeah. Always
so we
nice.
finished 2, and we've managed to balance 1, only 1, but we finished the other 2. Starting with the 10 million Satoshis 11th ring, that one is finished, and with node operators from Russia, Italy, Holland, USA, and Canada, and then we had the 10 million Satoshis 10th ring. I hope I pronounce his name right, but okay. Sometimes you need to keep faith, and a little sermon from Xolotl.
Yeah, I talked also to him. I don't know.
We had an amazing duo here working on Get the Ring Balanced. Italifar as a first timer with the help of the guy with the experience, Xolotl again. And it took a while to get everything sorted. We almost lost faith, but then there was a straightforward statement for Xolotl, and he pulled us through. So thanks for the effort.
Nice.
He also was very helpful to Italifar, who said, I've participated in multiple rings, but never been a ring leader, so I want to try it now. And he was great. He was very helpful. So real team effort. So thanks to those guys. Within this ring, there were node operators from Iceland, Swiss. I see here Canada, also Germany, Austria, and USA. And then the 20 million Satoshi second ring. Wow, man, crazy. So node operators from USA, Holland, and Canada again. And that one's also finished. We didn't manage to balance it, but everyone agreed on just lowering the fees or pick the fees they want and just let the traffic flow. So nice.
And I was thinking about cheering, Stef. And of course, cheering is for everyone. So I think it's good to mention again that no matter what liquidity you start, you're helping out the network. Yeah. Of course, if your hardware is up to date and working good, and you have some liquidity in 500k or more, well, more is better. But of course, everyone who participates is
10 million
doing
and 20
a great
million
job.
are for the more experienced node operators. That's the
it's not for the faint heart.
No.
Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, if you have the luck that you have that many Satoshis available, please join a ring with us. We have a Rings of Fire up to a half Bitcoin even. So
yeah. So that's that. Thanks, Stef. And let's go to the lightning notes and then to our friend Ben.
Let's do it.
Connect o mundo.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use two-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our Lightning leader, Johnny Kiyashu. Join our Telegram group, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Conecta el mundo.
Ben, nice to meet you.
Very good.
Yeah.
I messed it up. I started answering. I was like, oh, yes, or maybe. Great questions.
But the questions are difficult, we have to admit. But
And the Gower
it's
Peninsula
difficult.
is the most splendid place on the planet, by the way. If anyone's passing by, go to the Gower Peninsula in South Wales. Absolutely gorgeous. Just beach after beach. Glorious landscape. It's incredible.
We did
good
our
to know.
homework, right? And we saw all the beaches, and I was like, wow. But the funny thing is, one of my best friends, he traveled to Wales, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and he wanted to swim at one of the beaches, but the water is very cold, right? Because it's part of the ocean, right? Or it's the Celtic Sea, but he told me that's very...
Was he North Wales, West Wales? Because South Wales, we have, like you say, we're opposite the Bristol, Devon and Cornwall, so we're basically part of a big estuary, which means that our water's a little bit warmer because it has time to heat up. So, I mean, I was swimming in the sea the other day, and I spent quite a while meandering around. There was no rush to get out. It's lovely, very clear.
No, but it really looks like something like the beaches in Asia or something, right? Or French Polynesia or something. It's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, we have people come here on holiday, and then they go back, and they're all tanned and beachy, and then people say, "Where have you been?" And they say, "Wales."
Wales.
Wales.
For us, it's so near, Stef.
What else, right?
It's not very far. So
Next time you're here, just give us a holler.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We will definitely visit it, right?
And then also, I like the fact that you mentioned the Diagon Alley stuff, because I always think that with, I mean, we're going to talk about that in a bit, I think, but with Diagon Alley, the project, I kind of think that it's there if you look for it, but it's not there if you don't look for it. And actually, with some of the nostr stuff as well, I think that's what's nice about it when it comes to, well, I'm not sure we can go into this too much, but when it comes to, because obviously you still want some censorship, you kind of want self-censorship. Like, I don't want my kids to see horrible stuff, you know? But it's a bit like going into a town. Like, don't go down this street, it's weird. You know, there's weird shops down there. No. But it's there, and if people do want to go down that street, it's there. So I like the fact that you mentioned the Diagon Alley connection, the name.
Cool.
Yeah,
and you pronounced it right. Nostr, Edward. We had it in the pre-interview.
I tried.
And you said nostr.
Did I say nostr?
No, Edward.
Okay. Oh,
You pronounced it right. You said nostr.
Yeah, we were saying, that nostr is Welsh for good night. Very nice, lovely word. And I've been trying to push that's how you pronounce nostra, because for a while people say, no, to pronounce this, I was like nostr. But it seems that people are starting to pronounce it nostra, which is completely wrong. So it's nostar. That's how it should be pronounced.
Hey, and Ben, you were doubting to get back on the Diagon Alley stuff. You were doubting to answer yes or no at the pre-corners are all muggles.
Yeah,
and you first said no, and then you said yes.
It's tricky. I don't want to sort of separate ourselves out as some elite, enlightened class of people. Whereas a lot of pre-corners, they just haven't had access to the right information. So anything's possible. I don't want to, actually, I remember one of the saddest things I've ever heard, actually, my boy was in the back of the car, I was driving along, he was about 5 or 6 at the time, and he went, "Daddy, are we muggles?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are, son. We're not part of the wizarding class."
Yeah, and it's also about not seeing what's in front of you. And I think that there's something interesting in it.
There. Yeah, there is something there about being introspective.
Open your eyes. And to be creative, right? Because then if you think like a child, then you're asking the right questions.
Yeah,
so I think that's also.
It's also being able to have overview of a topic. Like if you're in the middle of something, it's hard to get perspective. Yeah, and this is quite often why marginalized groups, like in sociology, will have a better overview of a topic because they're marginalized. They can actually see the whole topic, and all the issues with it. And I think that happens a lot with technology. If we're over here looking at this, something like the financial system, for example, and we're looking at it with critical eyes, and we're marginalizing ourselves almost, then we have better perspective and a better viewpoint of the problem. And then that puts us in this space where, we're all stood beside each other, like on the outskirts looking in, and it kind of gives us a nice base for sort of clear thought and like creativity, like you say.
Yeah, totally agree, man. And you were one of the speakers at the Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam. We will be there, obviously, because it's in our homeland. So, but will you talk about a specific subject or?
LNbits, I think. I mean, there's just enough people out there who haven't. Every time I do a talk, even people who know LNbits, because we have so many updates, they're like, "Oh, I looked at the project 2 months ago. I didn't realize I had all this stuff and I could do all these things." So I'll cover a lot of the new extensions which we've had PR'd into LNbits. It's very exciting stuff. and very useful just tool set for people. So I think just getting LNbits word out there as much as possible, any platform will gladly take and stand on stage and just talk about LNbits. I also try and do with talks as well, like, I think I need to speak to them about this because sometimes they're not prepared for it, but I don't really like having a presentation. I like just doing a demo, just get the software up, go through the extensions, show what it can do, do some fun stuff, you know. And that usually goes down really well. People quite like that. It's like a change, you know, rather than just sitting there watching presentations. And
then they're really seeing it in front of their eyes, and it's
and it's also
speaks
like,
to the imagination. And
if something's stable enough to, you know, do a demo on, then it's stable enough to use.
You don't want an Elon Musk presentation
with the brick.
With the brick. I can't smash his window.
That's so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
But it's almost like, why put yourself in that position in the first place? You could just say it. You could just say, look, we can throw bricks at this thing.
For sure. Or make even a bigger glass, right? That you're sure you're not going to break it.
Well, it's also with the first iPhone. It's the same, that it didn't, the digitizer didn't work. So the touch, and they had 10 or 15 phones to just be able to put down the demo. But I think it's it makes it more real. I've read something about that it was
funny
very
because
difficult.
The actual demo itself, when you watch the iPhone demo, it's very slick, wasn't it? He's like, oh look, I've got a call, and then he's like, hi man, I'm in the audience. Oh, let me send you a dude. So they'd obviously rehearsed a lot with these phones. Yeah.
You have a demonstration and you have a marketing talk and showing something that's completely different, because you're now in a shed. You can show amazing things.
Well, this is the free and open source stuff, isn't it? You know, we don't have big swanky offices. We got little sheds. We're all working from little sheds and man caves and women caves and whatever cave.
Here also, it's a shed.
I would call it a museum, because I see things around you at your left side.
Some of this stuff is cool, actually. Like
So the thing.
This is the first Lightning POS, which I made like 3 years ago, and maybe even longer than that. And this is the first one, the first ever Lightning point of sale. So it's there, you know.
Amazing,
crazy, man.
And the first
it's a museum, right?
Machine. Yeah.
You're going to bring that, right? To Amsterdam.
I should do. I'm scared of losing things like that. So.
Oh yeah.
And my biggest problem actually is because I run out of parts, and then I'll be like, who cares about the sentimentality? And I'll like take the keypad off and use it for something else. So I've taken a lot of those original projects apart, but I shouldn't
you're
really.
not really a hoarder. So to collection and keep it that way, and then build something new. And...
Electronics, I'm a hoarder. Yeah, I do hoard the electronics here. But,
okay.
Yeah, but then I also I don't keep the things I've made, which is I always think is a shame, and I'm jealous of other like tinkerers and makers. You go to their houses and they've got all these projects they've built, and they're all really well preserved and kept. And I'm like, I would have taken it apart by now.
You can make pictures and videos of it, and then it's okay. Then you can
that's true.
build another thing. I think it's good to. I went to art school, and we had to demolish everything and then build it again, and then again demolish it, and then a week after again. And that was just to be in the process of creating.
Yeah, that constant sort of organizing of entropy. Into cool shit.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. Okay, so we really want to talk about LNbits and your vision on the Lightning Network and maybe on nostr. If we can reach that subject, but it has to be in 21 minutes, guys. Right. So if you guys are ready,
so many questions.
We would really love to enter that part. Are you ready, Ben and Edward?
No, I never know. I'm not ready, but just go.
Just go with the flow.
I will never be ready.
Let's start off with LNbits. Well, there are two versions of LNbits, Python LNbits and Go LNbits. And both LNbits use Quasar and Vue.js for its front end. And why two versions? Will there be another one in the future or something?
I think it's because there was a demand for people to have a Go version. And Fiatjaf wanted to look at a different way for building extensions in the architecture. So we developed the LNbits Go version Infinity. But we also need to continue to work on Legend to kind of get it out of beta, make it stable, make it usable. For our users who are currently using it, it wouldn't be fair just to like hop from one project to the other. So currently, most of our focus, there's still work going on Infinity and people are running it, but most of our focus is on the Python version. Because I think Python's very inviting to developers. Like they're not scared of it. A lot of people feel that they can develop on Python, and it's got a very simple back end where you can, take bits and bobs out of different extensions. But as soon as we have that out of beta, and as soon as as soon as we have the architecture locked down, I myself am very much looking forward to fiddling around with the Go version a little bit more. I think they'll meet two different needs maybe for users, but it's like, why not? Why not have them both? Who cares? I'm not sure there'll be another version, or maybe they will. We'll do a PHP version next.
And Ben, you created LNbits to start off with as a free open source wallet account system, which includes a lot of extensions, like you described earlier. And you also mentioned that it's like WordPress, for example, but then for your Lightning node. So a simple account system for multiple users and multiple wallets. What are the different user groups for LNbits? Thanks to all those extra extensions, who are the people that are able to use it, or is everyone?
Everyone. It's fast and varied. So you have a lot of people just use it for themselves. So they run it on their node and they use it as just a wallet system for themselves, and then have access to the extensions, make LNURL withdrawals so they can do faucets and things in their local town. But then there's some people who want to provide that service for friends and family. So their friends and family will all have a wallet on their node. And I think that's very interesting, particularly when Lightning's at a point where not everybody can run a node because it's kind of fiddly and channel management's hard and so on. And then there's also the people who use it in their stack. So LNbits works really nicely in a stack. So if you look at something like Lightning Tipbot, for example, that's on top of LNbits. And it just means that if you use LNbits as part of your software stack for a project you're building, all the extensions and any functionality which is added into LNbits and any hardening which happens in LNbits, you are able to leverage all of that and make use of that. So anyone who's building a Lightning project, there will be like dozens of these exploits they will be exposed to, as soon as they launch their project. Whereas if you're using a system like this as part of your stack, that some of the work to patching those exploits has been done because we've had it running in the wild for a number of years, and we've got some great talented developers who work on it.
Yeah, because they are all built by many great contributors. But what's your favorite extension at the moment, and what kind of extension would you like to see built?
Well, I've got two. I've got the because today I was working on me and Lee. We were working on finishing the Bolts card extension because everyone's liking their Bolts cards at the moment for the NFC payments. So in that you can you can charge a Bolt card with an LNURL, which is and it does like a fresh LNURL every time you make a payment. So that's pretty cool. You can set like a threshold as well. So you can say, I only want, this is the maximum transaction size, and then this is the maximum amount which can be spent in a day. So then you can,
for safety reasons,
and then you can mimic the tap and pay experience, which a lot of people in Europe have with their debit cards. There's that, and then there's also have I got one here with me? I don't know. I'm not sure if I have. There's the on-chain. Originally, it was called the watch-only wallet extension, but now that's there's now an on-chain wallet extension. So this is somewhere where you can put an XPub, get it to generate addresses, and one of our contributors, very talented dude, worked on Bitcoin.js, Vladstan. He's added the ability to create a PSBT. We're using Stef and Snygriff's incredible mbit library for doing a lot of this work to create a PSBT and then take that PSBT onto a hardware wallet and then sign it and send it back. What we've added into the extension to make life easier and make the experience easier for people is you can plug in our hardware wallet which we've designed, which just uses an ESP32. So you can use any ESP32 with a screen and a button, basically. So there's a vast variety of those out there in the world. And then you can plug it in and you can send the PSBT over web serial to the hardware wallet, sign it, and then send it back. And we've got some cool encryption stuff as well, which Stef and Snygriff of Spectre has helped us work out. But that means that you can have a hardware wallet which costs $7, which means that I can give that to someone with a cafe or a bar. And it's cheap enough to give to somebody and say, okay. And then we've got another extension, which is a loop. Oh, sorry, I'm going a loop out extension. So we can set a threshold on a wallet, and then when that threshold is hit, because these are Lightning payments coming in, it will just loop out using the Bolts exchange service to an on-chain address. So you could have someone accepting payments for coffees on their point of sale TPOS extension in LNbits. It loops out using the Bolts.exchange extension to their on-chain wallet, and then they can manage their on-chain funds using a $7 hardware wallet. Pretty cool stuff.
What would you like to see built?
What would I like to see built? I get foggy, when I'm working on a current extension. Oh no, probably the Diagon Alley stuff. I really want to. Oh no, the admin extension for admins. So admins don't have to manage their LNbits node by changing variables and .env file, which we're currently doing. Some users are fine with that; they're perfectly happy with that. But usually that's the developer community. But most users they want a UI, an admin UI.
So make it more easier with UI, because the env file, well, it's not very difficult, but it makes it easier.
Yeah, I mean, the WordPress analogy is great. Years ago, WordPress had the same thing, had a WP config or something, I think it was called. I think you've been there before, haven't you?
Yeah.
But now there's like a UI system for installing and then also managing, and your WordPress, and that's very similar to LNbits. We'll have it UI for installing.
It's very interesting because you can generate also codes for just some WordPress plugins, and you can have all the settings to another install just by putting in the code. So that's also
exactly. I mean, basically, like with LNbits, a lot of it is do as WordPress do, just whatever they've done, we'll just do that. And then, but for Lightning and Bitcoin, obviously we're not going to use their PHP, but we design it differently. But the basic concept is sound. Being able to have something simple which you extend out and then make more customized in your whatever you're using your install for, your node for.
Yeah. And you talked about some POS solutions and experiments, and we saw, of course, also your LNurl POS repository, point of sale, which was a result of combining Fiatjaf's offline shop idea with your own POS hardware. And on Twitter, you posted an amazing video where you had LNurl running on LNbits to use the POS device completely offline, so air-gapped. The device didn't need to have a connection, and it generated an LNurl QR code very fast. Can you describe how the payment process works, and also about the 4-digit PIN that is visible for the payer?
So the current version of that project is called LNPOS. So LNurlPoS was the original, but I thought it was a ridiculous name. So it's now LNPOS. And actually, it has 4 functions in LNPOS. You can give it an XPub and it'll generate on-chain addresses for you. You can do a regular normal, it goes to LNbits, requests an invoice, displays it, checks to see if it's been paid, says confirmed if it's been paid. And you can do an offline POS, which is where when you enter an amount, it's a fiat amount because, you're assuming that you're offline, so you need some stability. So you enter your local fiat amount, you press the little hashtag. At that point, it generates a 4-digit PIN. Random 4-digit PIN. It encrypts it using a secret. It puts it inside a URL. It then encodes that URL as an LNURL, and then it creates a QR code for the LNURL pay. So you scan it with your phone. When you scan it with your phone's actually doing a GET request to a server, to the LNbits server behind it, right? When it does that request, it passes the encrypted PIN. So you're leveraging the payer's internet access. Mm-hmm. So it sends the encrypted PIN to the server. The server then checks to see if it's been paid. Once it's been paid, it sends it back decrypted as a receipt. So for the payer, they scan it, they pay it, and then they get a 4-digit PIN, which they can say to the merchant. The merchant can press the hashtag and see the same 4-digit PIN because it was generated inside the device. Mm-hmm. Also, as well, I like to give props because I'm very keen on giving props in this whole process of coming up with ideas. Absolutely, Fiatjaf's offline shop extension was very inspirational for this, but also the Blesko map project as well. They the hackers from Parallelopolis, they made a offline ATM, which does the same sort of thing, but with an LNURL withdraw. So that's the 4th function in LNPOS. You can actually use it as a meatbag ATM. So you can enter a PIN if you want to. These are all optional. You can enter a PIN, you can enter an amount, press the hashtag, and it will generate a withdrawal link. So somebody can scan that, and it's still offline. Someone can scan it, and then they can pull the funds from from your LNbits wallet. Yeah, so. For much of the world,
and it's fast. This is
it's fast because it doesn't have to go do any internet stuff. Indeed. It just And actually, it's funny because so often I'll go into a shop because you think, oh, this is great for El Salvador or or Central African Republic or blah, blah. But then I'll be in Wales somewhere. I'll be in some bar and they'll be like, oh yeah, we're having really bad problems with the internet at the moment. And then I'm like, oh, if only someone would make an offline version of a POS, wouldn't that be great?
Cool.
And you don't need a subscription to a phone service or 4G, 5G internet or something.
Yeah, exactly. You can take payments all day, and you can, as long as people have got those pins, then that they've paid, and then you can verify payment. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's
nice. And we talked with El Mouton in a previous episode 22, about the importance and all different possibilities for static invoicing with Lightning. Bolt 12 Lightning seem to offer a lot of Lightning native advantages over LNURL. If you think from the merchant point of view, what will change about point of sale solutions if Bolt 12 is also available?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't really know much about this protocol stuff. Whatever tools are available to me to build stuff with, I will use. And Bolt 12, when it's around, I'm going to use it because it's cool. It's dope. There's some things where having a server in between a payment via an LNURL is still useful. So I don't think it's one or the other. I think that we'll just have both. And you may even have an LNURL which returns a Bolt 12, and it'll be mixed up a little bit. It's whatever tools people building stuff want to use. That's what's I'm personally going to use Bolt 12. Yeah.
And not so long ago, you tweeted about making a podcasting 2.0 extension for LNbits supporting LNurlPay and LN address. What are you working on here, and how does it work for users? Well,
so I heard about the value for value thing, and I thought, for a while, I was like, we should probably have an extension which does this, so you can upload podcasts. So someone can upload podcasts, and then they can accept payments for podcasts with the value for value model. I hadn't really looked into the protocol too much, and then I was kind of disheartened to see that they're just using keysend. I personally have never used keysend, so I'm like, why am I now being forced to use this thing which I've never used before? As someone building something, let alone a user. So I was like, well, I want to use LNURL because I can use LNURL with it. And then they seem to get annoyed by that, and I'm like, well, in your protocol, in the little thing which the little value for value tag thing you put in a podcast, you have a method for payment, and that could be keysend, of course, but it could also be LNURL, or it could be Bolt 12, it could be whatever. So I'm not sure why there was such a kickback from that, but yeah, it's like whatever. I'm gonna build an extension which does it in an LNURL way, and if I add keysend, because for us adding keysend would mean we need to add keysend to LNbits as well, and it's kind of a bit more work. And I'm like, is it used that much keysend? I'm not sure. So I kind of need to do some more research, see if that's what people want. If that's what people want, we'll add it. But personally, I have never used keysend before.
Okay.
It's interesting because keysend is really so much used with value for value. So interesting to hear your opinion about it.
Yeah.
And we talked with many guests about how important speed and deliverability are for adopting the Lightning Network. For example, nobody wants to wait 8 seconds or more for a payment to be processed. Are these static invoices and offline point of sale solutions what could really help to make Bitcoin Lightning Network much faster in the near future?
I think these are just solutions which people actually using. So you have protocol developers which are like, okay, we can do this is going to be cool. And then they probably do some research. I'm sure they do research, Lightning Labs. I'm sure they got research. They do sample groups, whatever. But then you have a bunch of people building stuff and tinkering around with the technology, and then they hit these stumbling blocks, and that's why they develop, things like the offline point of sale, the offline stuff, which I'd be like, I have a vending machine as well, the offline vending machine, which uses the same thing, except when you get the pin, you input the pin and it gives you the product. It's very cool.
Yeah.
That was partly made because I thought it'd be cool for the places where they have limited internet access. Often vending machines are kind of in a corridor where they might have good internet access. But then also because I go to conferences and I take my hardware with me to conferences, and quite often
Bitcoin Amsterdam 2022, guys.
And the internet always goes down because they have 10,000 people suddenly using their Wi-Fi. Yeah. So actually having that, because when I'm in conferences now and the internet goes down, I'm like, it doesn't matter. Got my hardware. It's all offline, whatever. Yeah, my hardware.
So Ben's taking over then.
And I think it's just
Ben's shop is still open.
So it's just like real world, issues and stumbling blocks, which then encourage some development in some way.
Yeah. But you told in the pre-interview that you will bring as much stuff as you can to Bitcoin Amsterdam, right? So if people will check it out, it will be very amazing to see. Live.
Yeah, I try and bring all the gizmos, smuggle them through customs. I find the best way to smuggle things through customs is put them in. I
can pick you up at my boat. I mean, then we don't need to cross customs, right? So.
That's true. No, I usually just put it in the hold in the plane, and it's kind of scary because the stuff I put in there, my bag never gets searched. Touch wood, and I'm like, what else do people put in there? Because if they were to scan my bag, it would clearly look very dodgy. Wires and things,
A bomb, maybe.
I'm thinking, Stef, why not go directly to the Lightning? Because I think those two questions are also very interesting. Just hit up with the
you
first
said before
question.
that the price fluctuation of Bitcoin makes it unusable as actual money, and it's best to fix the fiat currencies using decentralized technology and basing them on top of Bitcoin. What is the role of the Lightning Network infrastructure? Do you think all developments on Lightning make it easier to embrace adoption in the future?
I think this will be the next big wave of adoption, is when countries, particularly countries who don't have complex and developed banking infrastructure, such as central banks and all the apparatus you have to have in order to be able to be your own sovereign currency producer. For all these small countries, such as Wales, for example, they can develop their own sovereign currency, and it can be done in a way which is probably better than other fiat and soft currencies which currently exist. And they can just make use of the free and open source technology stack which we have with Bitcoin. And I just think it's even if it's not something you agree with, and you're like, well, one site's one site, everyone should use Bitcoin. It's like, okay, nice sentiment. But when people are on subsistence wages and Elon Musk tweets something and their monthly income is halved, like that's not cool. That's bad money. So we need stable mediums of exchange. And yes, people can use USD. They can use a USD stablecoin. But if you go to El Salvador, they don't want to use USD stablecoin. They would love to use an El Salvador dollar if it was stable and if it were secure and if it were corruption resistant. And if not only from the internal forces, but then also from external forces such as US, hegemony, which has been quite oppressive to a lot of regions in Central and South America. So, I just feel this is the next thing, which particularly countries which they're going to make use of all this free and open source software and all this to build their own sovereign currencies. And please, let's hope they don't do it on some shitcoin. Let's hope they do it on Bitcoin, because they can do it on Bitcoin. And if they build Lightning on top of it, which is they can do as the payment rails, they can just make use of all the software and hardware and everything we've built. The LNURL stuff and the points of sale and all the things we've built. By then,
the technology is already there. So
yeah, it's all there. And I think it's such a powerful tool for smaller countries to wiggle out of hegemony from bigger countries, such as Wales, for example. And Bank of England. It's not Bank of Britain, it's Bank of England. So I'm very keen on the world, something like, these smaller countries being able to become their own sovereign currency producers as well. I mean, so another good example of that is in 2008 with the financial crisis. And Iceland and Greece were in very similar positions. Iceland were very easily able to kind of wiggle their way out of that by just producing more currency, which we're all against as Bitcoiners, I know, blah, blah, blah. But it meant that their economy didn't go to shit like it did in Greece, because the Greeks couldn't do that. They couldn't use their soft currency functions to keep the economy moving and to wiggle their way out of this horrible financial crisis they had. So different countries have different financial needs at different times, and there are some soft currency functions which are very, very useful. However, soft currency does have a tendency for power to be centralized and for a collective small group of people to get their hands on the money printer. That's bad. But I think with the shit we've got, we can build very good versions of that, which distributes that control.
I agree.
Let's talk about something else you built, because not so long ago you showed your love of LNURL and hosted channels, because development and solutions should be from the ground up as opposed to top down from protocol. And that excites us the most, I think, because you truly believe that a community of users and builders like Hampus and Fiatjaf, for example, are the best people to address global needs and how we want Lightning to work and fuel future development on Lightning protocol. Do you think Lightning developers are different from developers in other tech fields? And if so, in what way?
I think we spoke about this before, about marginalizing ourselves outwards so we can see inwards and see the problem and then have better overview than somebody who's in the middle of that problem. And then it's just sort of, they think, well, why are you even challenging this problem? Because it's not a problem, because I'm in the middle of it and it works. It's like, it doesn't really work, does it? And we're out here. And then I think by marginalizing yourself, I think we're, particularly people who are like building stuff, we're more likely to tackle that skeuomorphic design issue of where you have all those legacy hang-ups from a technology which you carry into a new technology. Like the Andreas Antonopoulos did a great example where the first cars had reins as opposed to a steering wheel, because people had horses and reins, and that made sense that the cars would have reins also. And it's very similar in what we do. Like we're trying to like the offline point of sale thing. It's like now when you look back, it's like, oh, that's pretty obvious. But at the time, it's like it's really hard to kind of think of that thing, and you need like a bunch of other things to inspire you to think of that new thing. But I think us lot in Bitcoin, not just developers, everyone in Bitcoin, we're kind of thinking about these problems in a different way with access to a different set of tools. And then I think that gives us a natural inclination to enjoy that process of what can we do with this thing? What can we value for value? Could this, that? Like, what can we do with it, you know?
All those possibilities, yeah.
Yeah, all the possibilities.
Yeah.
And also because we are very passionate about it. I think that's also very, very important.
Well, we all are, aren't we?
Hey, and you've created Diagon Alley, a decentralized market stall protocol that shifts emphasis from the front-end market to the merchant stall. And when you made this proof of concept, no one saw the value in it apart from Fiatjaf.
Yeah,
in short, what is it and what possibilities does it have in the future?
So Diagon Alley, I put it into LNbits as a proof of concept. And the original concept, because Fiatjaf kept saying, make it into a protocol, make it into a protocol. And I'll be honest, at that time, I was very noob. I was like, well, I didn't even really know what a protocol is. You know, I'm like, what's a protocol? How do I make a protocol? How do you do protocols? And then, that was one of the seeds which went into influencing nostr and the development of nostr. So, which I'm very happy about that. I was, just as like his offline shop thing inspired the POS thing, that there was some inspiration from the Diagon Alley idea of having client front ends and then having like just something which is inconsequential if it gets taken down. You can just point that data at something else. And I think with the Diagon Alley stuff and with the nostr stuff, often in Bitcoin, we're like, Bitcoin fixes this. And it's like, no, public key cryptography fixes this. Bitcoin's one of the things you can build with public key cryptography, okay? With nostr, it's just native public key cryptography fun. Like we have public keys, we have private keys, we can sign notes, we can subscribe to people through their public keys. And that just using, because in most technology, they try and hide public key crypto behind login systems and whatever else. And it's actually quite exciting to me because I think that passwords are getting harder, captures are getting harder. And the answer to a lot of these problems is let people use public key crypto natively. And as soon as they do, then things like nostr Twitter and all these other solutions, and like the sex worker thing where there's reputation on both sides. And I mean, that was originally an Uber idea. And I was just thinking of other geographical services which could make use of that concept. And, Uber arrived. So it's
Uber.
Great name.
So yeah, but public key crypto fixes this, and nostr is, and that's why a lot of Bitcoiners, I think, are excited to work on something which isn't Bitcoin centric at all, but it's the public key crypto part of Bitcoin, which we all love, and I think we all know has a lot of value.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, indeed.
But no blockchains needed.
No.
Thank God.
Well, we had a lot of questions about nostr, and we didn't get to it, but maybe we'll record some after talk with you for about 10 minutes or something. And
that's why I tried to cram it all into that last question. I was like, well, on the topic.
But and you told the most interesting things about nostr, which makes people interested, I think.
And we
hear
also
more
are
about
going
it.
to invite Ben if he wants, obviously, into a future episode, of course, because oh man, so good to talk to him.
But I'm not in that. I made the nostr Twitter client thing, and I was kind of around at the beginning of the Telegram group, and when Fiatjaf first launched the protocol, and then Diagon Alley had some, helped inspire the concept and put a couple of seeds in Fiatjaf's wonderful brain, but. After the nostr, I didn't do anything I haven't really engaged with nostr for a good period of time. So occasionally I check in on the Telegram group and I'm just like,
exploded.
Yeah, I think I'm waiting for a reputation, someone to make a reputation system. As soon as they do that, then I'll do the Boober and the Uber.
That's a beautiful thing. All those people, that keep developing. So that's awesome.
And it's getting recognized.
Next the word.
Yeah, so we are at the end of the 21 minutes, Ben, but I have one question left for you. Last week we had Daisy Day Dickerson. She's the CEO of Thunder Games, and we asked her to come up with a question for you. So Edward will play the audio file and then you may answer it.
Yes, I do have a question, and he'll need to prepare if he's not already prepared. It is, what is your favorite Thunder game and why?
Well, so I have to be honest. I don't actually play on games very often, so I haven't actually played any of the Thunder games. However, my good friend Christian Russo came to visit a couple of weeks ago from Brasby Blitz, and he brought his son for a beach holiday. Came for a beach holiday, and they kept playing on Bitcoin Snake. And his son was really loving the fact and Christian had to like limit use. He's like, okay, you've had half an hour today. You can have another 10 minutes maybe. And his son really loved just that process of just building up some sats, just collecting some sats from Bitcoin Snake. It was pretty cool to see, actually.
Which is a really nostalgic game, right?
On the
Nokia.
Snake.
I mean, I think it was the first mobile game I ever played on the Nokia. So, yeah.
This is the one of the beauties of like limited, hardware capability. Also, it's like we had with the original NES games or something. Like they have to focus on gameplay because the graphics are terrible and everything else is getting And Snake's one of those classic games which will always be fun to play because they had to focus on the game. It's like getting Pac-Man or something. They have to focus on the gameplay as opposed to the actual just getting bogged down by graphics.
Well, like Tetris also. I was playing it in the train, and then Snake, you had your phone with you, and then let's play Snake.
Yeah, good old days.
Good old days.
Hey, and next time we will have a new guest. His name is Augustus Baggings, and he's the creator of ln2me.com. What question can we ask him from you?
With Lightning nodes being hard to set up, manage, fund, expensive as well, is Lightning elitist?
All right.
Good question.
Yeah.
Conecta el mundo.
Okay, Ben. Thanks again, man. It was a really nice interview and
really great.
We love the work you do, man, and we think LNbits is doing a great job and keeping the developments going on, and we will.
Same,
it's
guys.
nice to meet each other in Amsterdam.
It's a great format. I loved it. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, we will have a beer for sure.
Of course.
The guys from Lightning Beer Tap is on the conference. The guys from Bitcoin Magazine told us. So
good.
I will pay one for you.
Where can we find you, Ben, on the conference? What stage or
probably the free and open source workshop
free
area.
and open source.
Yeah, I don't usually leave from there because I'm busy making stuff like the POS things and hardware wallets. I'll be making some hardware wallets, I imagine.
Cool.
At the conference and giving them away.
Well,
you should never accept a hardware wallet from a strange stranger.
No, that's right.
But I'll sit and make it with you. So
and also the seed words are coming with it, right? Handwritten.
yeah. Well, actually, I mean, yes, it's pretty cool.
Like on Twitter, they all those DMs.
yeah. Good stuff.
Hey, where can people follow you, Ben, on Twitter?
All right, yes.
Where can people follow LNbits?
I think my Twitter is Ben Arc or ArcBTC. I think maybe, and I think my my personal GitHub is the same, where I do a lot of my hardware projects, like all sorts of POS, ATMs, the little claw game machine, also vending machines, all that stuff. And then LNbits, if you just Google LNbits, it will take you to LNbits.com. And then from there, there's the two versions. There's a demo server, play around with it. Don't put too many funds on there because you're just essentially donating money to me for me to run away with one day.
That's no problem.
but by all means, play around with it. Just don't put any money on there.
And you can also find LNbits in the App Store of your Node software, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so all the great nodes, Raspberry Blitz, Umbrel, my node, Voltage, all those things. It's like a pretty easy to install. Sometimes like the version isn't the most up-to-date version. And with LNbits moving quite quickly, like a lot of people are like, oh, when can I get these extensions? It's like we have to wait for them to update, their node. But whatever, it's you can get it on one-click install on those solutions.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, thanks again. And to everyone else, thanks for listening. And thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping us to connect the world together. If you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. For example, your Podcasting 2.0 app. And we need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Augustus Baggings on this same Lightning channel. Arrivederci, Ben.
Ai vol.
Nostra.